All right, what's good, folks? Now, shouts out to my new subscribers, most notably Brandon Ellis, because this is one of the reasons why I've decided to do this video. For though he said he watched one of my videos I did on Rick Strom, okay, from TYT Sports. He said he needs to go viral. Okay, I'm about to bury Rick Strom because once again, this guy doesn't actually watch the NFL at all. As much as he's been talking against the NFL, saying how wrong they are for not letting Colin Kaepernick back in the league, he keeps bringing up Colin Kaepernick doing this in social justice stuff. But yet, when the Players Coalition got together, right, with Malcolm Jenkins, Anquan Boldrin, Ben Watson, Josh Norman, and everybody else that was a part of it, which Colin Kaepernick decided not to be a part of, okay, and they actually got back like $89 million to go on social injustice issues that Colin Kaepernick was speaking about. There once is that reported on TYT Sports' videos. Rick Strom don't even bring none of that up, right? And because the NFL decided they're not going to let Colin Kaepernick back into the league anymore after he just sued them and settled out of court, right? After after everything been said and done, after it's been 3 years out, he ain't said nothing. They won't let Colin Kaepernick back in the league. Now Rick Strom wants to sabotage the NFL, right? Like he's doing now with this Bears, right? Because Rick Strom made two videos saying how he thinks Colin Kaepernick should get back into the league, how he should lead the Colts to the Super Bowl, right? He feels that Colin Kaepernick found his team, and because the NFL still not letting him back on it now, he wants to hate on the NFL. He wants to send them racist and everything else, right? Well, this nutcase that made a video about the Chicago Bears saying the NFL team is embracing their past, is trying to embrace their their past ban on black players, which isn't true, right? Now, for those who watched the Chicago Bears last weekend play against the Minnesota Vikings, you would know why they chose to wear these uniforms and why they're honoring the black players, right? Okay? Because what this nutcase Rick Strom don't understand is that when the Bears first wore these uniforms was back in 1936, where there were no black players allowed, right? That was a different NFL. That wasn't the same NFL we watch today. The NFL we watch today was the one that merged in 1960 with the AFL, right? Because back then, the NFL and AFL were two separate leagues. Okay? The NFC and AFC were two completely separate leagues. They weren't merged. Okay? The NFL we watch today is the NFL that merged, right? And by the way, man, no football player, no football team, none of these owners are racist. I'm going to say that now, right? Y'all got to stop saying they're racist. They're not racist because they're not letting Colin Kaepernick back in the league. But again, man, I'm going to play this video and I'm going to commentate, but I'm going to show you just how stupid he is. Y'all check this out.
Back the Chicago Bears wore in yesterday's affair against the Vikings at Soldier Field. The 1936 season also fell in an era when there were no African-American players in the NFL. The Bears' official Twitter account tweeted this video. They were worn for one full season, 1936. Ponder this. Does anything at all strike the cognitive thought when objectively viewing this photo of the 1936 Chicago Bears? It looks awfully overtly dissonant.
So, okay, man. So, again, man, like I've said before, that was a different league, okay? We all know about the Civil Rights days. We all know about Gale Sayers. And when Gale Sayers, who was the first black running back, came into the Chicago Bears, that was at a different time. That was in the 1960s, if I'm not mistaken, right? 1960s and 1970s. Again, man, this was a different time. You can't bring up something that happened in 1936 and put it and add it to this day and age because that's a different time, right? The Bears owner they have now don't have this mindset, okay? You can't base what happened then to now because there's no comparison, right? Again, man, by 1950s came around, players like Jim Brown had already broke into the NFL, right? I told you about the first black football player, Kenny Washington, right? From UCLA who actually broke in. That was in the 1950s. 1950s, early 60s, right? Who broke into it. That was in an earlier century, right? That was in the late 1900s, right? I told you that. The early 1900s, right? This was past 1936. Kenny Washington, go look at him, right? The first black football player, right? And after him, then came Jim Brown, then came Gale Sayers and everybody else, right? Those guys broke into the color bearer, right? They broke in, right? The Bears don't have the same mindset anymore. You can't say that. That's not fair. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can't. Why would you compare an older picture to now? That's what I'm saying, man. This guy is clearly trying to race bait for views and attention, and it's sad. He needs to stop it.
Franchising an entire race, barring entry into the National Football League through mandated practices. That's because 1936 was the third season of the NFL's 12-year ban on black players, a ban in which George Halas almost certainly played a central role, per Windy City Gridiron. This dates back to Washington's George Preston Marshall, the man who changed the team's name to a racial slur and served as the last owner to integrate in 1962, and whose last pillar of support came from the American Nazi Party. In the book Papa Bear...
And again, that's no longer relevant. The Nazis lost the war. Okay? The NFL system changed. Okay? Again, man, this guy has no idea what he's talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? This guy's just making up things just to get attention, right? Because, again, because his boo thing, Colin Kaepernick, right? The man he's worshiping, right? The guy he bows down to, the guy he's trying to make a hero, right? Trying to make a god, an icon, is not elite. He wants to attack everybody. No, the Bears ain't racist at all. That's not why the Bears is wearing these uniforms, right? That's not why. Matter of fact, let me show you real quick. Because this is on a Twitter feed, right? I'm gonna show you why they're doing this, and they're gonna better explain it themselves, right? Y'all check this out.
Season to address the important social issue. It's week 4 of the NFL season, and we have a big divisional game this week. I'm joined here by my teammates on our internal social justice committee and our chairman, George McCaskey. As you know, we assembled this committee last season to address the important social issues within our community. And together with the club, we raised over $800,000 to give back to our community here in Chicago.
And y'all act like these NFL players don't care, right? You act like these owners don't care. You heard what he just said, man. They got back $80 million. They got back money to go towards their social justice problems. These guys here are trying to fix Chicago. This is something that Colin Kaepernick is not doing. Okay, Rick Strom, Colin Kaepernick nor Eric Reed are actually doing this in their communities, right? Eric, like I said, Colin Kaepernick is somebody who hides behind the computer. He hides behind Twitter all day, right? The Players Coalition, which, by the way, Rick Strom, you don't talk about at all. Again, they got back $89 million to go on these problems. So don't act like the NFL don't care. Don't act like these owners are not worried about these issues, right? Wasn't it Robert Kraft who actually went to Meek Mill and saw him in jail and stated why Meek Mill should be given another chance? I do remember that, right? You act like these owners are so racist, they don't care about these black folks. Robert Kraft from the New England Patriots drove to Philadelphia and actually visited Meek Mill in jail. Okay? So if that's somebody that's somebody that racist on again, man. This thing is stupid, right? Rick Strom, you look like a freaking idiot right now. You don't watch football at all. You're not watching none of these games. You don't do your research. Okay? And this is why I gotta embarrass you.
We're proud of this work, but we still have a long way to go.
Another part of this committee is to engage in meaningful dialogue with the organization, league, and our fan base on issues that we as people, not just football players, care about and can make an impact on. As a founded franchise, our organization is glorious, but it's not perfect.
This Sunday against the Vikings, our players will wear the 1936 Classic jersey. That was from a time when, unfortunately, African Americans were not included on the Bears or other NFL rosters. Integration of the NFL and the Bears was too long in coming, but we're proud that this year's Bears will be the first African Americans to wear these jerseys.
Now notice this emblem right here, right? The league been around 100 years. So when Rick Strom made out that stupid ass video saying, oh, the NFL's dying out, how the hell they dying out? They've been around 100 years, right? Matter of fact, college football, NCAA, right? No, they doing the same thing. They've been around 150 years. So college football has been around. NCAA has existed 50 years even before the NFL started, right? The league we watch now, right? So again, how's the NFL died out and the NCAA been around 150 years? Matter of fact, high school football, right? Since there's a football at high school, right? In almost every high school we see across America, again, they've been around a very long time. So how's the NFL dying out? There's always going to be high school football. How's the NFL dying out when you got Pop Warner leagues? Who the NFL has a partnership with these little leagues across the country, with these little 6, 7, 8 to 12, 13-year-olds, right? Again, man, how is the NFL dying out? You got Pop Warner, you got high school, you got NCAA that's going to forever have players in their league. So just as long as there's a little boy, a little kid, growing up as a child, say he wants to be Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Khalil Mack, or Aaron Donald, there's going to always be an NFL around. Again, Rick Strom, you need to stop it, man. You sound like somebody who clearly has no sense at all. You have no common sense. You don't do your research at all. You sound like you're one-sided, right? Again, I understand that you pissed off the league, but don't take it out in the NFL because you hear from this man's own mouth. They actually do care about black players. Okay, that's why they're doing this, to honor the fact that that black people have had a chance, that they made a difference. That's why.
The importance of wearing this jersey goes way beyond this moment. Wearing this jersey is a sign, a symbol for the people that came before us that weren't allowed to wear this jersey. And now on our shoulders is the opportunity to represent not only our culture, but our city and our team by wearing this jersey and being the first African Americans to do so.
With all that said, after much thought and a lot of meetings, we are proud to be the first African Americans to pull this jersey over our head and take the field to represent this storied franchise and this great city.
When the dust settles on Soldier Field after the game, we want to use this as a positive opportunity to give back. To do that, we will be auctioning off select player game-worn jerseys from Sunday's game on ChicagoBears.com to benefit local social justice organizations we as players have selected. Join us in the celebration on Sunday as we take on the Vikings. We learn from our past and use it to push forward for more growth in the next 100 years.
So you heard it from there, right? You just seen that, right? Now the Bears have told you themselves, they've all agreed on wearing that, right? And why they're wearing it, they are using that money to go towards the city of Chicago because they're trying to fix those issues. They're trying to stop the violence. This man here, Rick Strom, again, is not doing research at all. He's one-sided, all right? As much as he's talking about the NFL racists, again, the NFL has gave these players millions amongst millions of dollars. If you see over 80 million, that's a whole lot of money to go on these problems, right, that they're trying to fix. Okay, so what Colin Kaepernick took a knee for, the NFL has been trying to help solve those issues, which, by the way, Colin Kaepernick is not a part of at all, right? That's his own fault, okay? This man's job right here is to spread chaos. It's to spread confusion, okay? Again, man, Chronicles of Judah has told you about these people already. This guy's a liberal Jew, most likely. Wherever the hell he is, this guy actually don't care about none of these issues at all. Because I can almost guarantee, if you go on Rick Strom's social media account, go try to find him on Twitter, you try to find him on Facebook, you try to find him on Instagram, he's probably not talking about none of this stuff. Behind closed doors, this guy probably doesn't care. He just wants you to think. He wants black folks to think a certain way. His job is to get you to hate the NFL as much as he wants you to hate them, right? But again, how is these NFL teams racist when, again, they showing that they care about black folks? You heard it from that player's mouth, right? You say this is the honor of the football players who weren't allowed in, okay? But again, let's let this nutcase continue on.
Marshall urged his fellow owners to realize that in the midst of the Depression, with white fans out of work, black players were bad for business. Marshall was credited as having led the initial ban at a pivotal owners meeting in February of 1933. However, he needed support for his racial motives. What makes the NFL so unique is that it's a full-fledged league and it starts off integrated.
And by the way, you know what I'm saying, people like George Hallis, you know what I'm saying, people like not even George Hallis, people like the guy he just mentioned, they're no longer in the league. Those guys have been passed away. All right? People who was owners back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s and 60s, those guys are no longer around. Okay? That's what you gotta realize. A lot of these racists, you know what I'm saying, owners who truly don't like black folks, a lot of them are gone. They're not around like that no more. Okay? And you can't say a football team like the Chicago Bears is racist when look how many black folks they've employed. Okay? You saw in that picture, right? It was Mitchell basically was the only Caucasian player out of the rest of the players around him being black. Okay? That's not racist at all. You can't say the NFL is racist and they paying these black athletes millions of dollars to go play. Again, you can't say that, right? Because again, the Bears just show you that they actually do care about the community and they care about the players who weren't allowed opportunity back in those days.
What you're hitting at is the historical amnesia that we do have, said historian Lewis Moore. That's right, from the league's inception to 1936, it was fully integrated. And then suddenly, they were all gone. There was no press release, nothing on paper. Over the years, the owner...
Of course, there was no press release back then because, again, it was a different league. It was a different time, man. Come on now. In the 1936, that was during the time of World War II. So majority of people was already going into war fighting in the army, right? So again, as I said, things was different back then. You can't base that on now. In 1936, they was in the midst of battling Adolf Hitler and the Axis powers, right? They was already going to war with Japan and everything else, right? That's where the majority of people was at. Okay? So again, man, why don't you base that to what's happening now? You can't do that. All right? The world we live in has since then changed. Everybody has a difference of opinion now. Okay? The fact that he's even bringing this stuff up looks pathetic. And it's really sad, too, because he's trying too hard to get people to hate the league. And I tell his subscribers I'm watching this video, man, how you gonna listen to somebody who clearly, again, man, doesn't do proper research, who clearly, man, did not watch does not watch the NFL game? Because if you watch the game, they'll clearly tell you specifically why they wore the uniforms, right? Why would you watch somebody who keeps talking about who defends somebody who's not even talking back, right? As much as this guy is talking about Colin Kaepernick ain't said nothing at all about even playing for the NFL anymore. He didn't say if he wants to play anymore or if he doesn't, if he hates it, right? Colin Kaepernick ain't said nothing. So why would you listen to somebody like that who keeps bringing up the same thing over and over again and don't even have a valid answer, who don't even have a solution to what's going on? He got no goals. Because as much as Rick Strom been talking against the NFL, this guy don't got no solution to even help the problem. Don't you? He talks about Colin Kaepernick and these social justice. What's his solutions to the problems, right? We ain't see this guy. We ain't heard Rick Strom talk about voting or nothing. We ain't talking about endorsing no candidates, nothing. And I'm going to show you that in another video I'm getting ready to do. Because I'm going to do part 2 of this about Rick Strom. Because again, man, this guy don't need to be doing these videos no more. Okay, he's making himself look like somebody that's a complete nutcase. This guy believes a lie. It's dangerous when somebody like him believes his lies. This guy is telling lies and he believes it. That's bad.
Owners involved maintained that no such ban ever occurred. Hallis, in particular, twice offered implausible explanations as to why the league had black players during its first 14 years and none for the next 12. He would say probably it was due to the fact that no great black players were in colleges then. He also said there was no ban and no...
I just tell you why there was no great black players in college, because they were all in the war fighting. Okay? Now, everybody got a relative, a great relative that was in World War II. That's black, white, no matter who you were, you was fighting that war. That's why there's probably no black players in there, because everybody's in the war fighting against World War II, fight against Germany, right? Again, 1936. That was during the time of World War II, which he's not even bringing up, okay? That's what you got to understand. Everybody was mostly fighting that war. That's why the league was limited then, okay? Plus, again, man, the league was segregation then. Segregation was still going on around that time regardless, right? There were black folks who were still, you know what I'm saying, still not created equal regardless. But when it came down to the war, you had to fight regardless, right? So that's why there's no great football players around, right? Because again, everybody was in that war. And back in World War II, you was taking the war whether you like or not. You was automatically drafted. There was no choice to decide where you want to go, right? That's why Muhammad Ali decided to give up his title and protest against fighting the Vietnam War, because he didn't want to go. Because back then, black folks were forced to have to fight in that war whether they like it or not. And Muhammad Ali basically decided in the 1960s he wasn't going to fight in no war, okay, for people who were innocent. He said, I'm going to change my name. I don't want to go by Cassius Clay. I'm Muhammad Ali, and I'm not going to fight in this war. So I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to give up my title because I don't want to fight. You're not going to make me fight in a war of people who did nothing to black folks. Muhammad Ali said black folks was fighting a war within America, was being segregated, not having the right to vote. Right? So these people like Rick Strom act like they know about the history. This guy clearly done forgot about World War II, which was taught in your schools from grade school into college, right? We've been hearing about this. So wouldn't that explain why there was no great black players in college, because they was all out overseas fighting?
No way, shape, or form. The best college player eligible for the 1939 season was running back Kenny Washington.
Bingo.
The NFL draft that...
See that? I just told you. Bingo. Right there, man. Kenny Washington. Okay, first black player, right? I told you, they let him in. He got in there, right? Again, this guy was good enough to where he didn't have to go through the draft, right? He made it through there, right? But again, it's not that, again, like I told you, it's not that many of this guy. There's not that many of them. Because again, a majority of these players was overseas in the Army, being recruited to go in the Army. Okay?
That year, 22 rounds. Guess where Kenny Washington was selected? Not in a single slot. In 1989, a fellow black player, Ozzie Simmons of the Hawkeyes, told the Iowa City Press-Citizen, George Hallis said...
And my thing is, why does it even matter if Kenny Washington was taken, or if he was still led into the league? Okay? So again, man, he's basically contradicting himself. How you say the NFL is bad when they at least allow a black player in there? That's, again, I still don't understand this guy, dude.
said, Ozzy, I'd like to use you, but we have an unwritten rule in the National League, and that is blacks can't play. Going back to Preston Marshall, he and Halas are linked forever. They were friends. When the owners and the league commissioner posed for a photo, the two men stood side by side with Marshall's arm around Halas' shoulder. Marshall was, Halas wrote, the canniest promoter and greatest talker to come into since Charles C. Pyle. As Jack Silverstein writes, everything that happened in that 33 meeting happened because of Halas and Marshall.
But again, man, that stuff is no longer relevant anymore, right? So again, you heard from the Bears themselves, right? They told you why they wearing those uniforms, right? This stuff is irrelevant. Rick Strom, you need to stop, man. You know what I'm saying? This is going on. You going on too far enough, okay? Because I just showed everybody why the Bears decided to wear those uniforms. They all had a team meeting and agreed to wear those, okay? So if you gonna call first of all, man, if you gonna call it racist, then does that make the black players racist because they choosing to wear these uniforms? They choosing to wear these throwbacks, okay? What happened in the 1930s don't happen now. And I told y'all, man, Kenny Washington was the first guy who broke in. Through him, he basically pioneered it. It wasn't James Brown, it was him. Then it was because of Kenny Washington that inspired Jim Brown and Gale Sayers to do what they did, right? Even the football player from Syracuse, he's another one who also Kenny Brown's also sucked, right? He was the second black quarterback they took him, right? Go watch that movie on the Syracuse, of that black football player from Syracuse. I can't think of the name right now, right? No, the NFL been letting the black brothers come in here, right? So again, man, this video is freaking stupid. I told y'all, man, Rick Strom is somebody who's clearly an idiot, right? He's only doing these type of videos because he hates the NFL for not letting Colin Kaepernick in there. So he wants you to hate the NFL because of that, right? This guy again wants to destroy the league so badly because his boy, his lover, Colin Kaepernick's not in the league. That's why y'all need to stop listening to this guy, right? But anyway, folks, that's the video. Again, man, this is only part one. I got another video coming, right? Because part two, I'm going to show you why the Players Coalition, you know what I'm saying? When Eric Reed, the video when Eric Reed attacked Malcolm Jenkins, right? The video when Josh Norman said that Colin Kaepernick was invited and didn't show up, right? I'm going to show you those videos and prove that Colin Kaepernick actually does not care, okay? Because Josh Norman even said his own mouth, Colin Kaepernick decided not to be a part of the Players Coalition, right? So what Colin Kaepernick was protesting about, these other players had a solution for it. He didn't. So how is he a leader? Right? But anyway, folks, man, that's the video, man. But again, man, Rick Strom, man, again, you got to stop it, dude. I'm calling you out personally because you somebody who clearly don't do this research. You do a video like this, but yet you didn't even see the Bears tweet at all. Because if he would have saw that Bears tweet, he would not be putting this video out there. So how is the Bears embracing racism if they decide to honor the black players and put their money towards a donation, right? That's how some people who actually do care. The owner they have now don't have that mindset back there, okay? They don't. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that no more. You can't compare that to now, okay? This is 2019. We in a whole different century, okay? Again, y'all need to stop saying these NFL people are racist. Because the same ones who say the NFL is racist are the same people that still watching it to this day. Right? Just like if you say people say to ban NFL, nobody really banned the NFL. Nobody really boycotted. The people who say boycott are the same ones still watching it to this day. Again, they still buying and Madden video games when it come out. They still wearing jerseys. They still going out to these arenas, paying money to it, right? Y'all need to cut it out. Y'all need to stop it, man. No, Rick Strom, you need to stop doing these videos because you're not going to stop the NFL at all. And the fact that you're doing this video is not fair to the Chicago Bears at all. That's real low down. Okay? It's low down to these guys here.
Game this week. I'm joined here by my teammates on our internal social justice committee and our chairman, George McCaskey. As you know, we assembled this committee last.
So again, you see it, they assembled that committee, right? So Rick Strom, when you talk about the Bears, you talk against what these guys are representing, what they stand for. Okay, Rick Strom, this is why you need to be called out. I'm going to personally call you out, Rick Strom. You need to stop it, man. He needs to stop doing these videos, man. I'm going to show y'all. And I could, again, man, shouts out to the person who could actually get on his social media. Because I've been trying to find this guy on social media, right? Because Rick Strom might not even be his actual name on his Instagram or his Facebook. Because I don't think Rick Strom is really this type of person, man. This man's only doing this shit for views, right? TYT Sports only doing these type of videos so they can become relevant, right? So they keep a certain fan base so they can monetize and get paid off of it, right? Because again, how you gonna talk about the Bears and they themselves telling you right here on Twitter why they're doing it, right? Those jerseys are to represent the people who weren't allowed in, and they're putting that money towards the city of Chicago. Okay, each and one of these players got back over $80 million to go towards their cause. So that shows you whoever the owner and chairman is do care. Man, folks, man, that's the video, man. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. I'll see you soon.